When a woman pulls away, most men's first impulse is to do the exact opposite of what they should. Chase after her, bombard her with messages, try to force explanations, or desperately promise changes. This behavior, while emotionally understandable, ends up intensifying the distance and destroying any chance for genuine reconnection. The truth is, female pulling away rarely happens at random. It's usually a response to something that needs to be processed, be it a perceived incompatibility, a need for personal space, or even an unconscious test to see how you handle her absence. And it is precisely in the way you react to this distance that your true emotional maturity is revealed. The woman who is pulling away is, consciously or unconsciously, observing whether you will beg for her attention or if you will maintain your dignity intact. The big secret few men understand is that pulling away isn't necessarily the end. Often, it's just a point of redefinition in the relationship's dynamic. But to navigate this moment with emotional intelligence, you need to master a difficult art. The art of letting go without abandoning who you are, of giving space without losing your essence, of accepting distance without becoming a hostage to it. This requires you to stop seeing the distance as a personal rejection and start seeing it as valuable information about where you both stand. It demands that you resist the temptation to diminish yourself, to plead, or to create false versions of yourself just to win back her attention. Because, ultimately, if she returns, she needs to return to the real man you are, not a desperate performance of who you think she wants. And if she doesn't return, then you will have preserved the most important thing, your self-respect and the clarity that you don't need to beg for anyone's love. And to help you know how to act in a situation like this, we've prepared 8 essential attitudes you must take when a woman pulls away from you. From now on, you will hear everything the media hides from you. The hidden truth that many fear to speak openly about. Therefore, subscribe to the channel immediately, activate the bell, leave your like, and comment from which city you are joining us, so the algorithm pushes this video to more men who are blind to the reality we show here. It's no good for you to wake up alone. We need to create a network of conscious and informed men. Now, let's get to what really matters. First attitude, stop chasing immediately. When you realize a woman is pulling away, the first impulse is to desperately try to reverse the situation. You think about sending that long message explaining your feelings, calling insistently, or showing up where she usually is. But that is exactly the worst thing you can do. Chasing conveys neediness, desperation, and a lack of emotional control, characteristics that push anyone further away. When you stop chasing, you are demonstrating that you have self-control, that you value your own space, and that you are not dependent on her presence to feel complete. This isn't playing games, it's having the emotional maturity to recognize that things don't always happen on our timeline and that pressuring someone has never brought genuine results. Furthermore, stopping the chase creates something essential in any relationship dynamic: space. That space allows both of you to breathe, process your emotions, and see the situation clearly. When you are constantly trying to force an approach, you prevent the other person from missing you or reflecting on what you had. It's like trying to grab water with closed hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. By taking that step back, you are also giving yourself the opportunity to assess whether that person truly deserves your effort, and if you are acting out of genuine love or just fear of rejection and abandonment. Many times, when we stop chasing, we discover that it wasn't the person we wanted, but the validation she represented. Finally, stopping the chase is an act of respect, both for you and for her. You are respecting her decision to pull away, even if you don't agree or fully understand. You are respecting your own worth by not debasing yourself to beg for someone's attention. You are creating a healthy dynamic where no one needs to feel pursued or pressured. And here is the truth few have the courage to admit: if she comes back, she will come back because she genuinely wants to, not because you convinced her or wore her down with insistence. And if she doesn't come back, you will have preserved your dignity and learned a valuable lesson about letting go of what is no longer yours. The first and most powerful move when someone pulls away is simply not to move toward that person. Second attitude, know how to distinguish between pulling away and definitive disinterest. Not all pulling away means the end. This is a crucial distinction that many men fail to make, and they, therefore, make rash decisions based on wrong interpretations. A pullback can be temporary, motivated by personal issues, stress, natural relationship doubts, or simply the need for space to process emotions. Definitive disinterest, on the other hand, is usually accompanied by clear signals, increasingly cold and monosyllabic responses, a total lack of initiative in maintaining contact, genuine indifference to what you do or don't do, and communication that makes it evident the person has already emotionally given up. The difference is in the intention and the energy the person still puts into the dynamic. A temporary pullback preserves some level of connection, even if distant. Definitive disinterest cuts that connection at the root. To distinguish between these two scenarios, you need to observe patterns and not just isolated moments. A woman who is only temporarily pulling away still demonstrates some kind of consideration. She may take a while to respond, but she responds. She may be distant, but she doesn't completely close the doors. She may need space, but she doesn't act with hostility or absolute coldness. When there is real disinterest, the answers are mechanical and without substance. There is no effort to maintain any kind of connection, and generally, the person makes it clear, be it with words or actions, that she has moved on. Another important indicator is her reaction to your distance. If you stop seeking her out and she shows absolutely no reaction, neither positive nor negative, it's a strong sign of disinterest. On the other hand, if she eventually returns or demonstrates some discomfort with your absence, it was only a temporary pullback. Making this distinction correctly prevents you from wasting energy trying to revive something that has already died, but also keeps you from prematurely giving up on something that just needed time and space. The most common mistake is to interpret every pullback as definitive rejection and act impulsively, either distancing yourself forever as a form of protection or desperately chasing after her. Both reactions are extreme and generally inappropriate. The key is to observe with patience, give the necessary space without disappearing completely, and allow time to reveal her true intentions. If it's a temporary pullback, that space will allow her to return naturally. If it's definitive disinterest, you will have the clarity needed to move on without regrets. The wisdom is in not confusing the two, and in having the patience to let the situation define itself organically. Third, attitude. Observe her behavior from a distance. When you give space and stop chasing, a window of observation opens. This is the time to pay attention to what she does when she is no longer under the pressure of your constant presence. How does she act on social media? Is she posting things that seem indirectly aimed at you or the situation? Does she continue to interact with your content, even if discreetly? These small actions say much more than words ever could. A woman who has genuinely lost interest usually moves on visibly. She may start interacting more with other people, demonstrate that she is genuinely living her life without any vestige of connection with you, or simply exclude you completely from her digital and social life. A woman who has only temporarily pulled away maintains some level of attention, even if subtle. She may not talk to you, but she still observes what you do. Observing from a distance does not mean harassment or obsession. It means having peripheral awareness of what is happening without making it the center of your life. You don't spend hours analyzing every post, every like, every move. But naturally, in the course of your normal life, you perceive certain patterns. Did she comment on a mutual friend's post? Did she view your stories but not her best friend's? Did her online behavior drastically change after the distance? These details, when observed without neurosis, provide valuable information about her emotional state and what is truly happening. Often, nonverbal and indirect behavior reveals much more truth than any forced conversation ever would. It is through these unconscious and spontaneous actions that people show where their attention and interest truly lie. But the most important thing about this distance observation is what it reveals about yourself. By observing without reacting, you develop emotional intelligence and self-control. You learn to read situations without letting them control your emotions. You realize if you are obsessed or if you are genuinely just aware of the situation. And mainly, you gain perspective. With distance and time, you manage to see aspects of the dynamic that you didn't see when you were immersed in it. Maybe you'll realize she wasn't as special as you thought. Maybe you'll realize that her pulling away was the best thing that could have happened. Or maybe you'll confirm that she really matters and is worth being patient for. Distance observation is a powerful tool not only to understand her, but mainly to understand yourself and your own emotional patterns. Use this time not to obsessively monitor her, but to gain clarity about the whole situation and what you truly want from now on. Fourth attitude: never force explanations. When someone pulls away, the need to understand why can be overwhelming. Your mind creates 1,000 scenarios, seeks reasons, tries to find the exact moment things changed. And then comes the impulse to send that message: explain what happened, what did I do, why are you acting like this? But forcing explanations is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Firstly, because if she wanted to explain, she would have already done so. Her silence is already an answer, however painful. Secondly, forced explanations are rarely honest. The person usually invents generic excuses not to hurt you or to avoid conflict, and you are left with empty answers that accomplish nothing. It's not you, it's me. I need to focus on myself. I'm not in a good place right now. These cliché phrases don't bring the closure you seek, they just prolong the agony. Furthermore, asking for explanations places you in a vulnerable and inferior position. It's as if you are begging to understand what your mistake was, putting yourself in the role of the accused awaiting the verdict. This destroys any dynamic of attraction or respect that might still exist. It shows that you don't have enough confidence to deal with uncertainty, that you need her validation to move forward. A person with true self-worth can accept that we won't always have all the answers, that not every chapter of our life will have a perfect conclusion with detailed explanations. Sometimes people just leave, and that's okay. You don't need a full report of the motives to validate your feelings or to have permission to move on. Your inner peace cannot depend on the explanations someone else decides to give or not give you. True emotional maturity is in accepting ambiguity and moving forward even without all the answers. With time and distance, the reasons usually become clear by themselves. You start connecting dots you didn't see before, you notice signs you ignored, you understand dynamics you didn't grasp in the heat of the moment. And often, you discover that the specific reasons don't even matter that much. What matters is that she chose to pull away, and that choice alone already tells you everything you need to know. Someone who truly wants to be with you doesn't leave you in the dark, doesn't disappear without explanation, doesn't make you feel like you need to beg for clarity. So, instead of chasing explanations, invest that energy in processing your own feelings, in understanding what you can learn from this experience, and in rebuilding your life without depending on the closure she may or may not give you. The true answer you seek is not in her words, but in your ability to accept what is and move forward with dignity. Fifth attitude: don't change who you are to win her back. When a woman pulls away, it's common for a man to conduct an emotional autopsy on himself, identifying supposed flaws and promising radical changes to bring her back. I'll go to the gym more, I'll be more attentive, I'll quit that habit she didn't like. But here's the uncomfortable truth: if you need to fundamentally change who you are to keep someone close, that person is not for you. Cosmetic changes forced by the pressure of a loss are never sustainable or genuine. Maybe you can maintain them for a while, but eventually, your true nature emerges, and then you'll have two problems. You lost the person again, and you lost yourself in the process. Furthermore, changes motivated by desperation and fear of abandonment do not come from a healthy place. They come from neediness, and neediness has never produced lasting transformations. This does not mean you shouldn't become a better version of yourself. On the contrary, a pullback can and should be a catalyst for personal growth. The difference is in the motivation. You must evolve because you want to be better for yourself, not to convince someone to return. You go to the gym because you want health and confidence, not because you think bigger muscles will make her regret it. You develop emotional intelligence because you want to be a more mature man, not because you're trying to transform into what you imagined she wanted. You work on your flaws because you recognize they limit your life, not because you're on a campaign to win her back. Authentic changes come from within and have you as the main beneficiary. If she eventually returns and appreciates this new version of you, perfect. If she doesn't return, you will still have evolved for your own benefit. The irony is that when you don't change for her, but you change for you, you become genuinely more attractive, not just to her, but to life in general. People perceive the difference between someone who is desperately trying to mold themselves to be accepted and someone who is authentically evolving. The first situation exudes neediness and insecurity, the second, confidence and purpose. And if, after all your personal growth, she doesn't value who you've become, you'll have the clarity that you truly weren't compatible. You don't want someone who accepts only a manufactured version of you, an unsustainable performance that will eventually collapse. You want someone who values you in your essence, with your qualities and imperfections, someone who inspires you to grow without demanding that you stop being who you are. So grow, evolve, improve, but do it as a personal project of authenticity, not as a strategy to win her back. Your transformation must be about finding yourself, not about losing yourself trying to be what you think someone else wants. Sixth attitude, avoid asking for a second chance. Give me one more chance are 4 words that carry a weight of desperation and failure. When you ask for a second chance, you are implicitly admitting you already failed the first one. You are putting yourself in the position of needing mercy, of not being good enough without that generous concession. You transform the relationship dynamic into a hierarchy where she has all the power, and you are begging for crumbs of attention. Asking for a second chance shows that you didn't understand something fundamental. Healthy relationships don't work with charitable concessions, but with genuine mutual interest. If she pulled away, a chance given out of pity or pressure won't change absolutely anything. It will only prolong the inevitable and make the end even more painful when it finally happens. Furthermore, the very mindset of a second chance is problematic because it assumes you can control her feelings through a better performance. As if love were an exam you can retake after studying more. But relationships don't work like that. Feelings are not rational or transactional. She doesn't have a list of requirements that, once met, automatically reignite attraction and interest. If the connection was lost, asking for a chance won't recreate it. It will only create an artificial and forced dynamic where both are playing roles, she in the role of the person who is giving a chance, and you in the role of the candidate on probation. That's not a relationship. It's a stressful performance review that is bound to fail because it lacks authenticity and spontaneity. What you can do, instead of asking for second chances, is simply be the best version of yourself and let the results speak for you. If she perceives your evolution, your maturity, your genuine changes, she herself will make the decision to reapproach. And when this happens organically, without pleas or pressures, it has a much greater chance of working. And if she doesn't approach even seeing your transformation, you'll have the definitive answer. It wasn't about you not being good enough, but simply that you were not compatible. The right person will not need to be convinced to choose you, will not need persuasive arguments or promises of change. She will choose you naturally because she will recognize your worth. So guard your dignity, avoid desperate requests for a second chance, and trust that if it's meant to be, it will be. But not because you begged, but because both genuinely want it. The only second chance you should focus on is the opportunity to re-find yourself, to rebuild yourself, and eventually to find someone who doesn't make you feel like you need to ask permission to be loved. Seventh attitude, don't force reunions. The temptation to create situations where you accidentally meet is huge. You think about showing up at that cafe she frequents, going to that party knowing she'll be there, inventing excuses to schedule a meeting just to talk. But forced reunions are transparent and uncomfortable for everyone involved. She knows it wasn't a coincidence, you know it wasn't a coincidence, and the entire interaction is charged with that unspoken tension. You can't be natural because you're nervous and calculating every word. She can't be authentic because she's uncomfortable or pities you. The result is an artificial interaction that, instead of bringing you closer, reinforces exactly why you pulled away. Genuine and meaningful reunions only happen when there is enough space, enough time, and mutual willingness. 3 elements you eliminate when you force the situation. Furthermore, forcing reunions demonstrates an inability to accept the present reality. It is you trying to manipulate circumstances because you cannot cope with the possibility that maybe you shouldn't be a part of each other's lives anymore. This inability to let go, to accept that not everything is under our control, is exactly the kind of energy that pushes people away. It shows emotional immaturity and a lack of respect for her boundaries. If she wanted space, showing up where she is violates that space. If she wanted distance, creating excuses for meetings disrespects that distance. And the more you do this, the more you reinforce in her mind that she made the right decision by pulling away, because you are proving that you cannot understand and respect basic limits. Every forced reunion adds another layer of discomfort and closes the door even further to a healthy future reconnection. If a reunion is meant to happen, it will happen naturally, at the right time, when both of you are in a different emotional place. Maybe you'll meet months later, in a casual context, and realize the energy has changed. Or maybe she will take the initiative to seek you out when she feels the time is right. Or maybe you'll never meaningfully reunite, and that's okay too. Life has a way of orchestrating the encounters that are supposed to happen without us needing to force them. Your responsibility is not to create those moments artificially, but to be in a good emotional place in case they happen. Use the time of separation to work on yourself, to heal, to evolve, so that if and when you reunite, you are genuinely well and not just pretending to be well to impress her. Forced reunions come from desperation. Natural reunions come from time, healing, and sometimes destiny. Trust the process and stop trying to speed up or manipulate something that must happen organically or not happen at all. 8th attitude, understand. Sometimes, losing someone is just the beginning of finding yourself. This is perhaps the most difficult and liberating truth of all. Not every loss is a tragedy, and not every pullback is a bad ending. Often, we are so submerged in a relationship dynamic that we completely lose connection with ourselves. We stop doing things we love, abandon friendships, neglect dreams and ambitions, all because we were investing all our emotional energy in another person. And when that person pulls away, we feel like the world is ending. But what is really happening is that the version of you that got lost in the relationship is dying, and that hurts. However, it is in that pain that the opportunity is born to re-find yourself, to rediscover who you are outside the context of that relationship, to reconnect with parts of yourself that were dormant or forgotten. Losing someone can be the beginning of finding yourself again. When you allow yourself to live that process without resisting, without desperately chasing to avoid the pain, amazing things start to happen. You rediscover old hobbies or find new ones. You reconnect with friends you had neglected. You start investing again in your career, your personal goals, your physical and mental health. You develop a deeper relationship with yourself. You learn to be okay in your own company. You understand what genuinely makes you happy beyond external validation. And over time, you realize that the person who pulled away, no matter how important they were, was not the central piece of your happiness. You are. This discovery is terrifying and liberating at the same time. Terrifying because you realize you invested perhaps too much in something that was not under your control. Liberating because you now know that your happiness does not depend on someone staying or leaving your life. The final irony is that when you truly find yourself, when you rebuild your life on solid foundations of self-knowledge and emotional self-sufficiency, you become a completely different person. More complete, more interesting, more confident. And sometimes, this new version of you attracts the person who pulled away back, but now in a completely different and healthier dynamic. Other times, you realize you no longer want that person back because your growth led you down a different path. And both results are victories, because the true goal was never to win someone back, but to win back yourself. Every person who passes through our lives teaches us something, but some teach us the most important lessons through their departure, not their permanence. They teach us that we are stronger than we thought, that we can survive loss, that there is life and joy and love beyond that specific relationship. So, instead of seeing her pulling away as a tragic end, try to see it as a necessary beginning. The beginning of your journey back home, and that home is yourself. If this video made sense to you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment, gratitude. This helps the algorithm spread this message to other men who need to know the teachings of our channel. Every interaction strengthens this mission to open eyes and rescue masculine self-esteem. Thank you for being here. Continue following us. Because every week we bring reflections and tools to help you recover emotional control and become your best version. A big hug, and until the next video.